Today, if it's like most days, it's going to have some struggle. There may be a conflict or two that you have to deal with. Maybe there's a disappointment that you're having to deal with. From New Life Ministries, this is Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn. I'm Stephen Arterburn. And Going Deeper is all about taking the tough issues, the hard issues of life, looking a little bit deeper inside so that we can gain some insight into our lives. Okay, so I want to talk to you. This is a three-part series about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's not really about that, but I think that sums it up pretty well. So let me talk to you about today. Okay, let's talk about today. Today, if it's like most days, it's going to have some struggle. There may be a conflict or two that you have to deal with. Maybe there's a disappointment that you're having to deal with. Every day has some kind of struggle. Maybe it's you're realizing these expectations will never be met of this other person. Maybe you've lost somebody, either through divorce or death or whatever. And you know, one of the worst struggles as we get older is just kind of answering that question. As I become more limited, am I able to handle that well? That's a big, big deal. So there's nothing we can really do about the reality of this fallen world. We live outside the garden. We often we want it to be like we were in the garden. No pain, no struggle. But it's a fallen world. We all know that. So we really need three things if we're going to get through this, if we're going to make today a pretty good day or a great day. First of all, we need God's power. Now, Jesus said that He was going to send us the Holy Spirit. Now, the Holy Spirit has been around from the very beginning. It's part of who God is, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And it is a supernatural force in this world. I can't tell you how many times I have called upon the Holy Spirit. Lord, fill me with your Spirit to do this. And I really believe the results were something far superior than if I had not asked to be filled with the Spirit and that supernatural power. We must rely on God. And we must ask the Holy Spirit to empower us beyond what we can do ourselves. And then peace. We need God's peace. He says that the world can't give you this peace. And if we let the world, well, it's sure gonna take it away. But He says, hey, don't worry about anything. And He's saying, if I take care of the birds, I'm sure going to take care of you. So we need His power, we need His peace, and we need His perspective. Anything we're going through from God's perspective is just like a little tiny bitty piece of reality over eternity. And so we don't need to see it from our perspective, and that is, oh no, I'm hurting. I need to step back and try to see it from God's perspective. It's a temporary struggle. So what I'm saying here is that we have a tough today, every day, and it's going to be full of struggle. And every day we need to fill it right up with God's power, God's peace, and God's perspective. And we're not going to do that if we think God's mad at us, or we think God is a distant God or a disinterested God. No, we'll never do it if we think that. But God is love. Not loving, but is love. And He loves us and wants to be part of our lives. And He says that He is rich in mercy. So whatever it is that you think is dividing you, separating you from God, just know He wants you. He's made room for you. And His mercy will cover whatever that thing is. All right. Hope that's helpful to you. When we get back together, those are the three things you need for every day. I'm going to give you 3 things you don't need, you don't want. And I'll see you then next time on Going Deeper with Steve Arterburn. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope something I've said may have helped just a little bit. If you have a question you'd like me to answer or comment, just email me at stevesocial@newlife.com. I'll see you next time.
If you want to support Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, be sure to share it with them. See you on the next Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries.